guys, we're recording. Happy Monday and happy last week of January. I'm so excited about this call. Amy, you look so beautiful. I don't know if you got the memo, but we don't look nice on these calls. I'm so glad to have you here. So you guys, we heard from Amy in Utah in September, and that's the first time I think we met her in real life. And since then, we've gotten to travel the world with Amy. We just got back from Thailand with her and really enjoyed hanging out with her. We even had a big adventure to a really sketchy place and got to be on a yacht with her. And so, I mean, real friendships are formed through this company and this business. And I really loved hearing from Amy at Summit. Her presentation was about recruiting, but I love the way she I don't know, I just loved her vibe. I love the way she presented it. And so many people who were there from our team messaged, when we would post in the team page, like, what was your biggest takeaway? A lot of people said Amy's presentation was their favorite. So she's going to talk about recruiting today too. I'm sure there's a new spin on it a little bit, but I'm so excited to hear from her. Amy's a double Zaya executive. And then Amy, maybe you can tell a little bit about your story and your team and where you're at now. But I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. Hey guys. So I'm super pumped and honored that Katie and Monica asked me to talk to you guys. So actually, I kind of connected with Katie from Facebook because I like her vibe. And then we've had the chance to talk and become friends because that kind of happens when you end up on those trips and those things. So Zaya has just been like a crazy experience for me as far as it's just been more than I could ever have imagined or ever have expected. And it just kind of took off. So if we are going to talk about recruiting, I want to talk to you about it from kind of a more comprehensive perspective so that you can maximize recruiting, work this to your advantage, and we'll talk a little bit about how to make sure that you get to Jamaica and some of my top tips for that, right? Because we all want to go to Jamaica. So if you want to go to Jamaica, drop it in the chat for me right now. And actually tell me, are you registered for Mini Summit? If you have intentions of going to Jamaica, are you registered for Mini Summit? I just want to know. And so while you're saying that, so I got started with Zaya in May of 2018. I have small kids. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So I have no concept of what year it is outside of what their birthdays are and how old they are. I'm like, well, Emerson's almost 3, so I've been doing it for this long. So I signed up Memorial Day weekend, actually, of 2018. I had no intention of growing the business, which is absolutely insane. But I didn't. I just wanted to work it as more of an affiliate thing because I was just crazy about the pants. I was crazy about the pants. I'm a former Lululemon snob. I'm a fitness instructor and a former master trainer for Beachbody Live, which is just a fancy way of saying that I trained other instructors to teach live classes. So that's all that was. But I did have exposure, and it did make me an activewear expert. That's what I always said. I'm by default an activewear expert because I live in this stuff and I loved it. So just everything about it, the way that it fit and the price point, it was easy for me to get behind that. Even the new release Wednesdays, just because I used to check my email, definitely used to check my email every Tuesday for Lululemon and their new releases. So it was something that I was already excited about, and I was just going to kind of treat it as an affiliate thing. But I went for it, and I was like, well, I'll do a launch party just so that I can maybe get my money back, because I saw other people that had joined around the same time that I had joined were doing that. And there was a lot of interest in it. Oh, hey, is this being weird? I can't tell. Wait. I don't know what happened on my.
Monica, I think you did that.
That's okay.
Thanks, babe. Monica.
That's all right. I'll just keep talking. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't me. So anyway, yeah, and I did. I threw my party and I was excited about it. So other people were excited about it too. And it just kind of grew from there. But what I want to tell you is that I saw a lot of success early on. But the reason I saw that success is 100% because I didn't have any expectations about growing the team. And I know that you're going to say, well, that should be the opposite, right? Because if you weren't taking it seriously, why would other people take you seriously? And it wasn't that I wasn't taking it seriously as a business. I was excited to just sell the leggings. And what that did and what that kind of put off to other people is that for me, it was really no strings attached, as in like, I want to talk to you about this, whether you care or not. I had no expectations, no outcomes tied to any conversations that I had. I was just wicked excited about it. And so when I was excited about it, that's contagious. That's something that I like to tell people, like, you are contagious. People are looking for something to be happy about and to be excited about, especially like in today's climate. And so if you are that, and that doesn't mean that you have to be like rah cheerleader. If that's not your personality, that's fine. You can still bring that same I think I use excitement and enthusiasm kind of interchangeably. So if you feel that enthusiasm or excitement or whatever that word is for you, maybe it's conviction, and I know that that sounds kind of silly or a strong word, maybe that you have conviction about leggings, but also understand that your recruiting style and the way that you work your business is going to evolve. So at first I was just really excited that I found this awesome pair of leggings. And then I was really excited that I could get more of these leggings at a discount. And then you could call me an enthusiast. I loved all the leggings and I was excited to share that with people. But at this point for me, and the way that this business has drastically changed, I mean, my life looks completely different than it did a year ago, than it did two years ago, even going into this. And I haven't been doing it a full 2 years yet. And I can say that. And so now it comes down to conviction for me. I feel this need, this pull to share the business with people. So before we really get into this, I want you to write this down, because this is so important, that this business, write this sentence, this business is a blessing, period. And then I want you to write down one thing that, it doesn't matter what it is. It could just be like that your leggings made your butt look good. I don't care. It can be anything, but one thing or one way that Zaya has improved your life in some aspect, or one thing that you are excited or enthusiastic about when it comes to Zaya. It could be the bomber bra. I don't know, whatever that is for you. Or for me, it was the floral leggings. I was wild about those floral leggings and I had to have them. And that's honestly how I even stumbled into this opportunity in the first place. So that's something else that I didn't share at Summit and I don't share very often. But I was actually hit up for a party by a fellow master trainer, a Beachbody master trainer who was not a rep, but was throwing the party as a favor to her friend, my upline, Katie Ganderton. So funny story, she invited me to the party in a Facebook message. I was on my way out to a training. So I did the thing that all moms do. I think I looked at it and set it down and forgot about it. Oh, I might be interested in that. And then I didn't give it a second thought. I actually ran across the floral leggings on Pinterest, I think, somewhere, because I'm a weirdo that searches for leggings. And I did. So I ran across it and I was like, oh, well, maybe it's a weird Instagram brand. And so then I had to backtrack. And I was like, okay, so I have to have a rep for this, but I know somebody has said something to me about this. I've seen it somewhere before. And I actually ended up reaching out to a girl that did another leggings company. It was really weird. I don't even know if that's actually a direct sales model, but eventually I went through my messages and got back. The other girl's name was Amy. And I was like, Amy, do you sell those leggings? Because I need the floral leggings. She's like, actually, I don't. I was totally just doing this for my friend. I can put you in her group. So with that being said, also, I didn't intentionally ignore that. And I was the prime candidate to be excited about that. So I think a big part of what holds us back from recruiting and openly sharing the opportunity, or bringing other people into the opportunity with us, is that fear of rejection. So going into this, I want you to frame your mindset and everything that I'm talking to you about from the perspective that, like, you seriously have no idea what somebody has going on. And I know that that silence on the other end of the keyboard, or the all of those things, or the text that doesn't get returned, that feels really personal. It feels really personal, but it's not personal at all. There's a really good chance that it's not personal at all. And if it was personal, they'd probably tell you, right? And most people don't tell people. Okay. I also don't do cold messaging. And the reason I don't do cold messaging, and I'm not telling you, and we all have different versions of what cold messaging means. So for me, cold messaging means scanning somebody's profile, sending them a message like, hey, I think you'd be great for this opportunity. Do you want to hear more? I actually get hit up by Zaya reps still. I still get messages from Zaya reps, which is insane to me. But I do get those. So that's what a cold message is to me. And not that I think you should like creep and stalk somebody, but that's what it means. So I am more in the business of building relationships. I want to build relationships to see how I can serve people. And maybe that's with leggings, maybe it's with inspiration, maybe it's with, I don't know, some sort of positivity, or we connect something, but I'm looking to serve other people. And so that's a way that I can always feel good about recruiting. And I really even hate calling it recruiting or sponsoring. That's kind of awkward to me. I like to think of it as like, I'm bringing you into this family that I have and that I've built. And I know that if you don't have a big team, it may not feel like a big family yet, but I want you to also know that no matter what, you are, like, the fact that you are a unique individual means that you bring something to the table that no one else in the world can. And I know that we hear that in all sorts of different ways, but you do have something to offer. So whether you are a rep and it's like your first week or your first month and you're like, oh, I don't know enough, or that it must be so much greener on the other side of the fence because once you hit a certain rank, or once you have this, then it must be easier. Well, it never gets easier. And also as a rep on day one, you have you to offer, and that's a gift. You are going to be a gift to that person, and the business is a gift to that person, or it's a blessing to that person, however you want to think about it. So much of recruiting is mindset, because we're putting ourselves out there. And you're not just putting yourself out there about the business. We care about the business, right? Like I'm emotionally attached to the business. I care about it. I care about the people in it. And then I care about those potential people. So I recommend to you, and I know Katie is a huge fan, and Monica, that they're big proponents of personal development. But if you want to up your recruiting game, you have to do personal development, and it has to be leadership focused. Whether you have a team of 1,000 or you are a team of 1, you have to have that leadership mentality. And that's something that you have to constantly be developing. So I want to encourage you, no matter what, to show up every day like you are leading a team of rock stars, like you are leading a team of 1,000 rock stars, whether it's just you or it is you and that 1,000 rock stars. And it's going to continue to help you reach and strive to be better. And that is going to attract people, and people are going to know that you are the real deal in that. Okay. So let's talk about some practical applications to this. And if you shoot for this and you apply what I'm telling you, and I know that that's a bold statement, and I'm one of those people that doesn't like to make big, bold statements like that, but I'm going to tell you that if you do what we talk about tonight on this call, you're going to get to Jamaica. You are. What I like to focus on is filling your funnel. There's different ways to fill your funnel. It's kind of a fun phrase to say. That's a lot of F's that I just got through. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that. But so social media can be a funnel. Your VIP group could be a funnel. Maybe you're a fitness instructor. You're something that's personal. So for me, being a master trainer was a funnel. But what I want you to think about is the journey that we need to take people. It's a natural progression to go from customer to hostess to rep. So you have to fill your party funnel in order to really like maximize and fill your recruiting funnel in a way, sorry, I've got something on my camera, in a way that doesn't involve you sending out 100 cold messages a day. Right? So I like building those relationships where people trust me. That starts with giving your customer an incredible experience. I make jokes about this. I used to work for Tropical Smoothie in college, and we have what we call unparalleled hospitality instead of customer service. Customer service happens when something goes wrong. Unparalleled hospitality should happen when you walk in the door. That's the experience that you are creating for the customer. So being proactive, giving that like welcome to the group, like acknowledging every person that does buy something from you, giving sizing recommendations. I know that that stuff all sounds really simple, but if you can just get people talking to you, that's the way that you develop that relationship. So if someone likes their stuff, how do you know if they're going to like their stuff? You're going to send them a message and you're going to check in with them. And then if they do like their stuff, the natural progression to that is for them to become a hostess and to host a party. So when you are doing this and you are booking parties like crazy because you are taking your customers and you're turning them into hostesses, then you are ultimately filling that funnel for potential reps. So if you are throwing parties at Summit, the whole thing was put a party on it. I said it's like the dad in My Big Fat Greek Wedding where he puts Windex on everything, no matter what it is, like Windex on the wart, or like put a party on it. If you feel frustrated with sales, put a party on it. If you feel frustrated with recruiting, put a party on it. If you aren't ranking up, put a party on it. Action, like for the most part, action cures all, but you just have to do that with a little bit of finesse, and you can't feel weird about asking people to host parties for you. So again, like I'm the type of person that I have to position it from that perspective that I'm doing something good for somebody else and that it's not of this like self-serving interest. And we have the perfect opportunity with that. You have the hostess credits. Like the hostess credits are rocking. Like who doesn't want to get $150 in free gear? Like I do. I still do. I rack up those party rewards all the time so that I can get the stuff or I can give the stuff away. And the best part about it is that we can apply those hostess credits to the starter kit. Oh my gosh, right? Natural progression. So if you have anybody, I mean, $200 party, maybe a stretch, but if you have $600 parties or $1,000 parties, you got to frame it like the whole time. Be like, as soon as people start buying stuff, you're like, wow, your friends are really into this. They love this. You're great. You're an amazing hostess. Like, and I'm not saying lie to people, like be authentic, but for the most part, like if they have those good parties, they are, and they would be a great rep and their friends do love it. So I want you to think of every party also, instead of just an opportunity for you to get sales, it's a showcase of the business. You're showing people what you do. Like seriously, what you do, that this is what the business is. So it's so important in parties too that you bring that fun factor and you bring the excitement and enthusiasm and you go live and you show who you are and you bring everybody in. Because if you can create those micro communities within the parties, then that translates over for the hostess to want to become a rep, because you're like, hey, your friends ordered all this stuff. Here's the deal. They're going to want to order more. Everybody always does for New Release Wednesday. I know you're going to want all of those new releases. So you can apply your, your hostess rewards. Sorry, I was like all the words. You can apply your hostess rewards to the starter kit, and then you can get that $200 gift card, and you can use your discount, or you could put it through a party and get more rewards, and that way you can get all of the new releases, right? So it's about that natural progression, and that's how I like to do it, because I'm building that relationship starting at the stage of customer. And asking, and that's another thing too. So asking for hostesses within the party, and then you already have their own friends that are ready to host parties for them. So it's like, you turn it into this where it's like, well, yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. And my favorite takeaway from Summit was not like what's the worst that can happen, but what's the best that can happen. So if you lead with that frame of mind, like, hey, this is the best that could happen and it's pretty sweet, like who wouldn't want to give that a try or give it a go? And if you think about it, like with our return policy, so we've got the 90 days. If somebody wants to cancel, wash their hands of it, no big deal. We have a rock and comp plan too. So that's the big thing, is like, as the rep, I can get hostess rewards too. Heck yeah. All my friends already want this. And if you do have somebody that is an awesome hostess, then yeah, they're going to be a rep, like a really good rep, and you're going to set them up for success from the get-go. I've actually got my notes on my phone, so I'm not like mid-call texting over here. But okay, so I want to talk to you now about how you have that conversation. So that's kind of the lead into how you have the conversation with them to get the interest or to spark the interest. What you need to do is make sure that you are utilizing the resources that are available to you. Because like I mentioned before, you're showing up as if you have that team of 1,000 people. If you have a team of 1,000 people and you do something, those 1,000 people, they're going to think that they have to do what you do in order to be successful. So there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. Use the corporate materials so that your reps will use the corporate materials. And yeah, like especially in the beginning, like I have this whole, I created a package, and it's kind of like, we use that in our Discover Zaya events, which leads me to my next one. I know, like, Katie, you guys do Discover Zaya calls and things like that. Like, make sure that you are plugging into that. And then also, if you have a team, do your own, like do all of them, show them like what you can be part of on this level, and then how much support you have on this level, and then how much support you have from the corporate level. And that's what's so cool is, I mean, that's the thing, even with this call, yeah, Katie did a call for me, but we don't have any reason, like, we don't benefit off of each other, but that's not what this company was founded on. And that's not the purpose of the pillars. And so that's what I think is so cool too. And something that is different from other direct sales experiences is that, like, cohesively, like, we are all like a group of positive rockin' women. Like, you can't go wrong here. And that's something that I like to share and that I like to show people on the micro and then on that macro level. So what you want to avoid in the conversation, in having the talk, is any, like, I hate the, like, hey girl, like, I just hate that. I hate it because I am somebody that no matter what, I get like at least 10 cold messages a day about everything and about how I'd be great at makeup. Like, I don't even wear makeup except for like right now. I washed my hair for this. I did. Like, I planned out my day and I washed my hair earlier today just for this. It's like, no, I'm not your girl for that. And it's like, you didn't dig around enough to see you didn't watch stories, right? Because stories is what you get in real life. So I like to avoid the hey girl messages. I like to keep it short and sweet. I don't want to send somebody a novel in that message, and we have to watch that. Like, word vomit happens where it's like, hey, would you be interested in this? Because I think it's really great and it's a great company. And it's like, whoa. So if you have a relationship with somebody to start with, then why not just, and I don't mean also because I think people, me for sure, I've gotten these messages where it's like, so vague, where they're like, hey, and it's like, oh, well, this is weird now. So I want you to think about it like this. Like, if you were going to talk to somebody that you kind of knew who they were, and they were in Target, would you just walk up to them and say, hey? Like, no, that's real weird. And then also on the flip side of that, I'm going to get tickled, but on the flip side of that, would you walk up to somebody and be like, hey, I've seen you before and I totally love your style and I'm part of this? It's like, whoa, like, you had too many cups of coffee. So think about it like that. It's the beauty of the internet is that we can reach all of these different people, but I think that we take that like conversational filter out of it. So have a real conversation. And typically conversations, to be successful in like interperson interaction, like in-person interaction or on the phone, you want to listen more than you talk, but same goes for typing. So ask somebody if they're interested in it. Get the consent to get that to give them the information without giving them all the information. right? So it's like, why buy the cow if it's all for free? So not that, but make people talk to you, make people engage with you. And if somebody doesn't want to engage with you, then okay, bye. There's somebody that does want to engage with you. Or maybe they're me and they were like, oh, squirrel, and they set their phone down and they totally forgot. But I just like to believe that the universe is going to bring them back around also, because I think we've also gotten those messages where it's like, hey, 3 months later, hey, and it's like, no, don't do that either, right? So if you like blew it in Target and you came up again in Kroger, they're gonna be like, it's restraining order time, like definitely not. So keep that in mind too. But whatever you do, so if you're using those resources, or you're talking to people, or you sold them something, anything, you have to follow up. And they say the fortune's in the follow up. Yeah. No, your entire business is in the follow-up. It's in your ability to individually reach out to those people. So you have to set yourself up in conversation so that it's not weird for you to check back in. So you have to leave that door open for yourself. And when I say that, you say, let's say there's a Discover Zaya event. I'm going to add them to the event. I'm going to ask them, like, also avoid, what did you think? That's not good. You can do so much better than that. That's so vague. What did you think is not good? It's like, maybe, are you ready to sign up, or do you need some more information? What's your main question? What wasn't covered? Like something specific. Or if I add them to the group, because we have a group, I'll add them to the group and I say, I'm going to check back in with you in a couple days. Would that be a good time for you? So when you kind of get that commitment from people, even if it's a loose commitment, and if somebody comes back to you and they say, it's not a good time, I've got a lot going on, and you're like, okay, well, when do you think things will settle down? Can I reach back out to you then? And typically people are like, yeah. And then when you reach back out, you're so much less likely to get ignored, because it's in the back of their mind, because they consented to you following up with them. And then you're also in the back of their mind. So statistically speaking, I think it's 7 out of 10 people need 7 exposures before they're like really in the mind, to the mental space to say yes to the business. And that's just an average. So some people it's 1, some people it may be 20. It doesn't matter. It's always, no matter what you do, anytime that you end a conversation, and like, write down the phrase right now. You have to do this too. So even if you were a summit, write down, let me know, and then like hard scribble through it, because you're going to throw that completely out of your vocabulary. It's never let me know. It's, can I check back in with you? Do you have questions? Can I send you this information? Would you have time to look it over? So it's never let me know, because let me know is passive and you're putting it off on them, and you're the one that is here trying to, in a sense, give them the customer service. It's your responsibility. It's not their responsibility to get back to you. It's your responsibility to set the stage and to set the tone. So that's what I think. I think that your keys to success are to just like ultimately be an enthusiast, or to be excited, because that is contagious and that's something that people want to be a part of. And especially if you're doing that in your VIP groups and in your parties, that is going to show through. That's going to shine through. And it's like, I make jokes. I really wanted my walk-up song to be "My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard," because I say that it's like, that's what like brings all the reps to the yard. But really, it's like you stand there and you are excited and you love the stuff and you have that enthusiasm, because people are looking for something real to connect with. And like, yeah, I don't want to go be next to the person that's hot and cold about something. I want to be with somebody who's like, yeah. And that's why also at the beginning of this, I asked you guys if you wanted to go to Jamaica, if you were already signed up for Mini Summit. And this is something that I personally shared with my team. And it's that people, you attract people that are like you, that can identify, not that are exactly like you, but that can identify with something about you. Like everything that Katie posts, I'm like, preach, sister. Like, I feel it. And a lot of it's that mom stuff. And it does, like, that's something that resonates with me, but then also the positivity, like, that's what I want more of in my feed and more of in my life. Also, I'm one of those people that has like mega FOMO. So if there's a live event and I see people there having fun, I'm like, I want to be there. I wouldn't want to join Zaya with the person who was sitting at home while all the other people were out there having fun. And also, I'm not here to recruit reps on my team, and I hate the word recruit, but seriously, like, I don't want the kind of person that wants to sit at home. I want the person that is going to be there, because there is like, here's the deal, guys, and I get it. It takes a lot of confidence to show up at an event in probably a different state, and like pay money on what feels like a gamble, but it's not. It's an investment in yourself. And when you invest in yourself and you invest in your business, other people know. They know what it takes to get across the US to go to that event, or the childcare or whatever had to happen. Like, people know that. And then they take you seriously. If you take yourself seriously and you commit to your business, and also if you already bought your ticket, not that like gives you points to Jamaica, but just that level of like committing to yourself to see that return on investment, yeah, that's going to pay dividends in your business, and it's probably going to get you there. I bet most of the people, unless they have like an actual conflict for not going to Mini Summit, those are the people that are going to be in Jamaica, because those are the people that are showing up. And that's who, like, if I was becoming a rep, because, right, like, Zaya does have more visibility now. People do kind of know the brand, they know the name. Like, that's who I want to be with. I want to be with the person that takes themselves seriously, that believes enough in the business to commit to showing up, because it's a big commitment. But it is one that's worth it. And with that same sense, like, you have to be one of the main keys to success that I say too is consistency. Like, your business is built on consistency. So if you're showing up with C effort consistently, that's better than showing up with like A plus 5 points on the AP scale higher, like, inconsistently, because people need to know that you're going to show up, that you're going to show up for yourself, and that you're going to show up for them. So that's what walking the talk is. It's showing up, it's doing the parties, it's leading by example, but living that example. And also, like, I don't want to undermine this, and I know that this can come across as kind of cheesy, but seriously, like, living the example of what our pillars are, because that is what the company stands for. So if you're doing that and you're like, without being like, today I'm exemplifying Zaya's, like, today I went and worked out, so I did activity. That's not what I'm talking about. But like, yeah, any chance that you are living that out, like, that's congruent with Zaya. And that's something that I talk about in the Discover Zaya events. Like, how often is it that you hear of a company that is like, that's founded on building a sense of community, uplifting others, like being the light, to go the way, like, those are all of the things that I want to work on every single day, like, just to be a better human outside of the business. So to have a business that's like constantly reinforcing that, that's an incredible thing. So when you are like living that and exemplifying that and using that, like, in social media, in your groups, making it about more than just the sale, that's an excellent way to walk the talk also. And you have to do it without expectations, because these people, they don't owe you anything. They don't owe you a response. It doesn't matter. Just know that every time that you share the business opportunity, you are putting something good out into the world, because this business is a blessing. This opportunity is a blessing. And this is another thing, like, kind of across the board, we have been having some issues with shipping and some of these other things. And so if you are in that mindset where it's like, well, maybe I need to wait, it's like, well, all I have to say is I am so freaking thankful that I'm under Natalie Robeson and Chrissy and all of them. And like, what if they would have waited for the climate to be exactly perfectly right? What if they would have waited to be ready before they asked me? Like, how ridiculous would that be? I would be back, like, at work. My kids would be in daycare all the time, and I'd be stressed out trying to do all the things. And I'm sure like some of you still are. And so think about like the weight of what this could do for you and the gift that you can give yourself and to somebody else. So you have to walk into this without those expectations coming from other people, and not from a place of, I need 3 reps to get the 3x4, right? So if you are consistent and you are consistently booking parties and you're doing those things, the 3x4 is going to happen. Jamaica's going to happen. All of those things are going to happen if you show up with a good heart. And the other thing, the one, like, I'm sure I've talked for like 1,000 years. Okay, so I was trying to keep it shorter. But the one thing like that is the most important, and this was the phrase that I ended with the quote at Mini Summit, and it's that if your purpose is bigger than your ego, like, you are unstoppable. So if you're in your head right now where you feel uncomfortable, cool. I try to be uncomfortable every single day, all the time. If I don't feel uncomfortable, like, I don't even know what being comfortable is anymore. I just like trial by fire. I throw myself to the wolves like on the regular now. And that wasn't like always the case. Confidence is a muscle. And I don't mean like, oh, there's a difference between like confidence and bravado. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that quiet confidence, that like knowingness that whether somebody turns you down or like whatever, it doesn't matter. And that comes from that like doing the personal development with that like leadership mindset and really, really developing that. So it's not just like thick skin, it's like developing that integrity and that character and that knowing that like everything's going to be okay, whether somebody turns you down or not. And that will change the game for you with your recruiting. So think about that right now. Like, what is your purpose with Zaya? What's your purpose with Zaya? Like, if you know it enough right now to write that down on a sheet of paper, do it. Please do it. What is your purpose? Mine is to empower other women in the way that I have been empowered. And your purpose with this can change, or your why, we call it different things. But for me, like, it really is. It's to empower others in the way that I have been empowered through this business, in a way that like I had lost myself in a sense, like as a mom, in a way that like I had been in a toxic environment being a master trainer, like let myself get beat down in some of those areas. And this was like just an incredible opportunity for me to take back my power in a sense, and to like even just by contributing to our income and doing it in a way that felt good and in a way that I'm like so incredibly proud of. There, like, you can tell me no all day. Like, that's okay, because I have enough belief in it, and sharing that ability and sharing the blessing that this business is so much more important to me, whether I'm going to be like, than feeling embarrassed or rejected. So I hope that out of everything, like, that's the one thing that you can take with you on this, is to just put your ego aside and remember that why, or remember that purpose. And like, so, you know what, some days I have to go back and I have to like go look at it and be like, this is why we're here. This is what we're doing. Okay, ready, set, go. It's not very often, but I think that we can all definitely get in our heads from time to time, whether you feel like you have seen success in this business or not. It's that mental game, leading with the confidence, and just kind of like stepping into being the person that you want to be. And I'm not the person today that I want to be. Like, that's going to constantly be a journey too. So just kind of accepting that there is no destination with it also. So I hope that helped. If you guys have questions, I'm going to stop talking now so that Katie can take back the call. But if you guys have questions, I would love to answer those real quick if we have time.
Amy, so good. I wrote down a ton of notes. One of my favorites, and I have never heard anybody say this, is to think about how you talk to somebody if you saw them in Target. It's such a brilliant way to frame that. We all go to Target, so we all know. I mean, that's just so brilliant. So I just love that. Hey, that's cracking me up. I'm like, creeper, delete. I hate those messages. Will you share some of your favorite personal development?
Yeah. So one of the ones that I know I shared at Summit was it's an old one, but it's so good. It's Go Pro by
Okay.
Eric Worre. I love that one. Um, I'm a huge Simon Sinek fan. So
Listening
right
to him
now,
right now.
yeah, I have one. I've been going back and forth. But oh gosh, let me look at it really quick because I get the names all mixed up, but I've got it. Because
Leaders eat last.
Audible's my jam. No, it's a different one. And I love talking. Oh, it's The Infinite Game.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and that's another thing that it talks about is, and I love that, and you can totally apply it to, yeah, Leaders Eat Last is so good. But The Infinite Game is awesome because it talks about, like, he uses, major companies as an example for it, but it's playing a finite versus an infinite game. So a finite game is like football or a track meet or something where you're playing to win, and there are these like set constraints and time frames and but like things in our lives like marriage or parenthood, like you don't play that to win. You don't show up every day to win. If you are, it's not going to last very long or turn out well, right? So but you show up to play, and you play to keep playing as long as you can. So that's why you show up with that effort. So we talk about this business that it's a marathon and not a sprint, but that's not even true because marathons have an end. And so you're just like, well, if I could just push myself for a little bit longer or slow and steady, it's not about that. Like you want to keep your skin in the game as long as you can. So that's helped me reframe my mindset too of like, I show up to like, I want to play as long as I can. I want to do Zaya as long as I can. So this is something that I share with people also, and it's more just like personal with my frontline, but that I love the incentives, like the 3x4. If it's like reinforcing behaviors that you're already doing, but if you're sprinting ahead to catch that, or you're sprinting ahead to hit director or whatever that is, and it's really kind of like out of the scope of being sustainable or sustainable with your team, you're gonna burn yourself out, or you're gonna burn your team out, because you're gonna have to like, you run ahead and then you have to run back, and you run ahead and you have to run back, and it's not something that's sustainable or that feels good or that leaves you feeling good afterwards when you fall back from it. So that's kind of like goes back into forcing things. And what I really love about just what the infinite game thing has done for me is that instead of like focusing, because the reality of it is, if you are like doing $9,000 in sales every month, and you can't be everything in Zaya, you can't be at the top of the leaderboard on everything. And the thing is, it's not about that, and that's not what pushes your business forward. Like if you need a title for yourself, you need to be, instead of trying to be the Zaya MVP, be like the all-around player. Like you need to be the most all around in sales, all around in leadership, all around in all of those things, so that you are exhibiting those behaviors. And I know that we're talking about recruiting, but when you're recruiting these people and you're bringing these people onto your team, it's really important to consider that if you can't duplicate what you're doing, and same with recruiting, same with the processes that you're using, that it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So if I'm sprinting ahead and I'm doing these things and I'm wearing myself out, then that's the expectation I've set for my team, whether that was my intention or not. So I think that that's really important. Sorry, and I went off on a tangent about that, but I'm definitely passionate about that. And then actually, I love Freakishly Effective Leadership for Network Marketers. It's a quick one. It's Ray Higdon. He's great. If you're looking for like an overview of social media stuff, there's one for, it's like it's Freakishly Effective Social Media for Network Marketers. If you're looking for something like for leadership though, and really helping you just kind of get out of your own head, anything with Brene Brown has my heart too. So all of that stuff is good. Yeah.
So helpful. Monica,
Can you
do
tell
you
I
have
like,
any?
I was like, can you tell I like personal development a little bit? I'm like, let me read
Same.
my list.
Same. Do you have any questions, Monica, or anything to add? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, hey Heather. Okay, so do I have podcast suggestions? I am I am a grandma with technology. Like I'm so bad. I don't do podcasts. I just listen to stuff on YouTube or like my Audible. I don't even know how to like
Oh,
get a
Amy,
podcast.
we got to get
I
you this
know.
little
I know.
app. It's purple.
I have the Audible one. I have
Okay.
the book one.
Goal for 2020.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't
Or
know.
maybe 2021. All right, you guys. I think unless there's any other questions, that was so helpful.
Thank you for
Thank
listening to
you.
me for the 1,000 years I talked. I'm sorry.
Thank you. No, and yeah, I know it's so late there. It's like
Oh, no,
almost 10 where
no,
she's
it's not. I'm in the same time zone as
Oh,
you.
you are? Oh,
Yeah,
well, it's still late.
it's still late.
It's still late.
But you guys got me out of bedtime. I didn't have to do that. So I'm
Yes, winning. All right. Heather, I like your virtual upline by Bob Helig. That's a good one. I would start with that one. It's all about network marketing. Okay, guys, I will post the recording in the morning and I'll send it to you too, Amy. Thank you guys so much. And thanks, Amy. We really appreciate it.
bye.
Bye, guys.